Throw 3 darts at the map. Toss in 3 wildly distinctive personalities.
Some people call me the Man of Steel.
Giddy up.
Plus 3 clever projects, and you've got a craft show that'll have you saying, "That's clever." Coming up, this artist from Tampa, Florida does some heavy lifting when he creates a steel mirror that outshines them all. But first, this crafter from the Windy City reveals the fringe benefits of bagging up a great idea for a hip fashion accessory.
I am too cool for school.
Next on That's Clever.
I leave a trail of stars. They always lead me home.
Welcome back to That's Clever. We're on the road finding real people making really cool crafts. This artist from Chicago, Illinois shows you why it's hip to be square with this stylish handbag.
Hi, my name is Pilar Aldane Reed, and I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I make a lot of stuff. And today I'm making this really neat hip sack. And I make all of my stuff right up the street. Welcome to my little spot in the world that I like to call Pilar's Place. This is where I come to create and to do things that I find really relaxing, like sew and paint and make jewelry. I'm going to get started on my hip sack. I take a large piece of burlap, and I absolutely love burlap. Not only is it very durable and very strong, but it's just a cool fabric to use for a bag. First, I'm going to measure. I usually make my bags about 16 by 17. Next, I'm going to cut. Burlap can get pretty messy, so it's very important to have really sharp scissors. I've cut 2 panels out, and this will be the body of my purse. So I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to make the front of the bag out of canvas. Canvas is cut. Now I'm going to draw my design. I'm going to do a mask. This mask has no historical significance. It's just something I like to draw because it encompasses a lot of colors and personality. Now I'm just drawing some designs. Next, I'm going to draw some of the facial features of the mask. Once I'm happy with my design, it's time to paint. I'm going to use acrylic paints. And when using acrylic paints, it's important to mix a little retarder in with water because acrylic paints can get really gummy. I like using acrylic paints because I find they're a lot easier to use than oil painting, but they're a lot richer than watercolor. I am oftentimes the most peaceful when I'm doing some form of art. Art has been a part of life since the beginning of time. The ancients thought it was something that was very relaxing. The colors that I use are colors that really remind me of nature. Colors you'd find in the forest or in the tropics. Greens, browns, oranges, reds, really vibrant, beautiful colors. Once I finish painting the mask, now it's time for a really bright turquoise background to really make the mask stand out. Next, I'm going to sew the canvas onto the front of the burlap. I'm going to cut the excess string off of the canvas. I'm a real pro. I don't pin, I just sew. To sew my canvas onto the burlap, I'm going to use the zigzag stitch. Next, I'm going to cut the muslin, which will be the liner of the bag. I use muslin in my bags because burlap can really stretch, and muslin gives it the strength that it needs. Next, I'm going to line up the burlap with the muslin. I'm going to use pins to baste my embellishment to the inside of my bag. When I sew my bag and flip it inside out, this will be a nice embellishment to the bottom of my bag. Time to sew. Now I've finished sewing my bag, I flipped it inside out, and I've even added handles. I am too cool for school.
Now we return to Chicago, Illinois, where Pilar shows you the softer side of copper. See how she's got her latest design wrapped around her finger.
I also make fabulous jewelry, and now I'm going to make this trinket ring. When I create my trinket ring, the first thing I do is find some really beautiful trinkets. Today, I'm going to use amber. Amber is a great trinket, and it's also a very beautiful semi-precious stone. Next, I decide what I'd like to wrap my trinket ring in. For my amber, I'm going to use copper because I love the way they look together. First, I start with the smallest stone, which will be the front of the ring. I find the hole, and I put the wire through. To secure the trinket onto the wire, I take a pair of pliers, and I bend the tip of the wire. I take the wire and I bend it around the bead. I love working with copper because copper is a really soft, bendable metal. I leave about a little more than a foot of slack on the wire, and then I cut. I'm going to bend the wire to make the bottom part of the ring. I'm going to flatten the wire because I need to add the second bead. And if there are bumps in the wire, the bead won't go on smoothly. This is a mandrel, and this is crucial to making the actual ring. I'm a size 7. Now I'm going to wrap the wire around the number 7. I'm going to wrap the excess wire around 3 times because I like my rings thick. As a finishing touch to the ring, I'm going to add a little loop-de-loop. I cut off the excess, and I twist away. Ta-da! I remove the ring from the mandrel. And now, I have a beautiful trinket ring. It's one of a kind.
Talented crafters are hard at work on great projects everywhere we look. We just showed you 3. Be sure to check us out next time and find out what America's crafting on That's Clever.